Greetings and salutations, people. It is the 27th of June, 2016, and this is Three Men and an Anime. And I'm joined by my co-host, Eric Carlson and Sonic Gav. Guys, how does Strawberry Sundays sound?
How does what Sunday?
Strawberry Sundays.
They sound delicious.
And or pizza.
Yeah, I'll take one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're sort of it's one of the things I found most memorable about this anime. We are covering the Devil May Cry anime, which was Gav's recommendation.
It's his fault.
Welcome.
It's better than the other thing that we watched on Gav's insistence that we did not do a show on.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Which we're not going to talk about right now.
Which would have been forgettable if it
No, you brought it up.
Something
you
else.
brought it up. That's it. You brought it up. I finally, and I know I referenced this a long time ago, back in what episode 3 it would have been, but I finally got these two to watch Martian Successor Nadesico, Prince of Darkness.
Yes, the movie.
Yes.
Honestly, we're not going to do an episode on it.
No, it's not. It doesn't deserve an episode because there's not that much to go into. However, the reactions are hilarious. Away you go.
Honestly, yeah, fine. I think each of us will give our short summation of the movie. I'll start. It was awful. It largely forgot everything that I liked about Nadesico. It was largely humorless and charmless. It was dull, flat, and not very exciting. And it removed the character traits out of almost every single one of the characters, except for the ones that they basically focused on one character trait that sucked, and made it suck and ramped it up to 11. Most importantly, they took the three main characters from the original series, whose names are escaping me at the moment because I'm stupid.
Akito,
Ruri, and Yuriko.
Yuriko, sorry.
Yeah. Akito basically lost all his humor and earnestness and charm and became a emo whinge beast. God, he was awful.
Yeah.
Ruri lost her biting sarcasm and, just general,
awesomeness.
She became a Vulcan. No,
she wasn't even a Vulcan. She was faintly nice. She was happy.
Well.
She wasn't even like tapioca. She was just this blob of tofu that just sat there and was with a little bit of extra flavor to make her palatable, sort of. And Eureka, they literally turned into an object. It's not even a damsel in distress. She was literally an fucking object.
They turned her into a statue.
Do I even have to make the objectification of women's joke?
The tactical genius that we saw that pulled off fucking U-boat maneuvers in space. Complete ditz. Gets about one line.
Yeah, she gets like a line and a half, maybe.
At the end.
Line and a line and a half at the end. Because for the rest of it, she's a fucking statue.
So, yeah, I hated this movie. I hated it.
See, this is the thing, right? I don't want to sound, I don't want to be presumptuous, but I think we all enjoyed Nadesico.
We did.
Yes.
I did.
Yeah, Nadesico's lots of fun and really charming.
Yes.
This was Edgar from friggin' Men in Black. It's something that pulled on Nadesico's skin and lurched at you from the screen and made you want to go just run away and hide.
Yes. Oh.
It was trying really hard, but didn't understand anything about the source material, and
which is real surprise because the guy that wrote this was actually the lead director on the series, and it's like I can only imagine that there was like background arguments that he thought the plot should go one way, and the writers reined him in, and remembered there needs to be character. And this one, he got free reign.
Yeah,
I got nothing. It was just.
It was not good. There was a plot that I don't really remember because it wasn't terribly interesting, and there were there was some sort of coup that I think happened.
Who was the Prince of Darkness?
There wasn't one.
Yeah,
it makes
it
no
was the
damn
Prince of
sense.
Prince of Darkness, there
I
wasn't
think
one.
I think there was a brief bit about romance manga in there that was sort of like supposed to be a nod to the anime the meta anime worship.
Oh my God, that's
They
right.
didn't do anything with.
They literally never uttered never said on screen anything about Geki Gengar. There was nothing to do with Geki Gengar. There were images of Geki Gengar itself like 3 times in the movie, and that's it.
Yeah.
They went out of their way to just ruin this. I mean, you mentioned Akito becoming an emo beast. Not only was he kidnapped and brainwashed. By the way, all this happens. We saw the Nadesico just vanish off into space. We come back. It's 2 years later. Akito and Eureka are dead. Except they're not. They were captured. Okay. The crew's broken up. They've all gone off to do silly things because that's what they do, because that's their characters. That's the entire plot, basically. And they get the band back together and do more bullshit.
Yep, that's...
Except Rory, who was the best character, gets reduced... I think... Understand, I despise Tofu. I really can't stand it.
Right.
I think you insulted Tofu by comparing Yuri in Prince of Darkness to Tofu. And Tofu deserves all the insults it can get.
Write it in the chat. Compared to Akito, Sasuke is a wealth of personality.
Sasuke is... there are things about Sasuke that are actually interesting.
They put it this way, they tried to okay, what were Akito's 2 main character part, the whole flaw? He was funny but passionate, and all he wanted to be was a chef. So in this one, he's been fucked with so hard in the brain that he's now a monotone fucking emo douche, and also he has no sense of taste, therefore can't cook anymore.
Yes. It's bad. Don't watch it if you like Nadesico. Don't watch it if you didn't like Nadesico. Don't watch this movie. It's bad.
I have never seen...
It's not worth your time. It wasn't worth our time.
No, it wasn't, but it was funny. And I just to say, I have never seen a show or an example miss its mark harder than this film has to the series. And I've watched Dragon Ball Evolution. Okay?
Yeah, it's like
that's the levels we're talking here.
Yeah,
it's Eric's analogy there about Edgar from Men in Black. It's like I've been. It's one of the best things I ever heard about it. It was somebody told me it's like the mall Santa. It's wearing the right clothes, but underneath it's wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah, your point about
the mall Santa is at least trying to let you. The mall Santa is at least making an effort to let you at least pretend and play along. This thing refuses to let you do that. It sort of gibbers and lurches in your direction and vomits bad dialogue at you and then falls over.
Yeah.
If you ever want to see, right, this is my last thought on it. If you ever want to see, if you are a student who's learning to write or learning to produce or anything along those lines, this is the best example I have ever seen of here's an idea given to 2 different people, and just how different a writer can make on the source, because they are polar opposites.
Yeah. Anyways, Devil May Cry.
Devil May Cry.
We're moving on to something better. See, that's what I did, Peter. I made sure you were going to rise from this because we talked about that first, and this is an improvement.
It technically is, yes, Gav. All right, so Devil May Cry, the anime. It's an anime adaptation of a very well-known video game series that I've never played any of, so I knew nothing about it going in.
Although
oddly enough, none of us have. Yeah, this is another one of those that I swear to God that HMV in the UK must have had a deal on with Madhouse, because I didn't realise, because the last ride back, my last suggestion was also a Madhouse. This is a Madhouse as well. I've had friends that played Devil May Cry. I've sat playing Pokemon while they had the PlayStation on. and I saw roughly. I got the gist of what it was. It was a 3D hack and slash. Okay, whatever. But I did have to do research to actually figure out who some of these characters were. I knew that most of them would have had it's the typical situation. You don't need to know the game, sorry, to watch this show. But if you want that little bit of, who is this person and why do they know this person, you do need to do a little bit of reading, but nothing over the top.
Yeah, I imagine that knowing something about the games would have helped, but I don't think it would have helped me. It wouldn't have helped me much, I don't think. But anyways, Gav, why don't you tell us about the basic premise of the show, Gav?
Well, the basic premise is this is the story of Dante, who is owner, I suppose, of the Devil May Cry. They refer to himself as a handyman. Essentially, it's a mercenary job. He does pretty much anything as long as it pays, and he can be bothered to do it. He's a mechanic.
He fixes things.
Yeah, pretty much. But basically, the whole shtick is that he also specializes in the demonic, or as they refer to it straight in the show, the devils, who come from the devil world, who have great pleasure in murdering, maiming, and just destroying humans when they get a chance.
And generally being awful.
Yeah, because they can. The actual... I don't want to go too much into the plot, what there is, just because it's... Right, this show is, 12 episodes long. The plot is in episode 1, 11, and 12.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
I mean, there are little things that sneak in that, that hint towards something. It's not subtle. There's a repeating character that keeps coming back, and it's like, well, obviously, he's the only person who has got on Dante's bad side that he hasn't murdered. Therefore, he's probably important. Let's get to the finale. That's pretty much it. But what I do like is that, and I said this a few times, I think whoever wrote this and, well, whoever adapted this at the very least was a huge fan of Cowboy Bebop. Because there are elements here where every episode is mostly self-contained. Mm-hmm. Lessons learned sometimes carry over, but generally the episodes themselves are self-contained, their own story. And rather than Bebop's use of genre, this is more the lesson of the week sort of thing. Each episode has its own little lesson to learn kind of thing. Some are subtle, some are not. Some make you think it's going that way, and then it's like, no, fuck you. I don't want to. I mean, I've got a habit of going through every single episode, and I don't want to do that with this one. But there are a couple of really good episodes that stand out. I mean, first, obviously, we really need to go through the characters first.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, characters next.
Yeah. And we'll go in that. So obviously, we've introduced Dante, who's the lead guy, the character of the game, the player insert, the dude you play, who, as I said, is a fixer. And as we go through the show, it reveals what, basically, if you've played the game, it reveals what he is. He's the half demon, half human son of, well, a demon and a human. That makes sense, really. But his dad was basically the most powerful demon swordsman who rebelled against the demon world, came to the human world to defend against a huge invasion sort of thing. And Dante decided to stay. In the first episode, the only other two characters that recur that we're introduced to are Morrison, who is essentially his liaison. He's the one that finds the jobs and points them in Dante's direction. He's your usual like gruff, sort of sarcastic. He's fairly straight, fairly blunt with Dante, and just tells him to get on with things, really. And according to Replica Rabbit in the chat, is his brother, which again, that doesn't come up in the show.
Nope.
So
yeah, poor adaptation on that end.
Yeah, if Morrison is actually his brother, then yeah. The other one we get is Patty. Well, right, this is one of those English adaptations. They refer to her as Patty Rowell in the anime, but apparently her name is Lowell, and obviously,
Okay, sure.
R's and L's, but whatever. And essentially, she's brought in. From what I can understand, Patty is the only purely from the anime character. I can't find any reference to her. Oh, Rabbit. Okay, sorry. No, I'm getting mixed up. It's not Morrison. Sorry.
Morrison's not his brother. Okay.
Yeah, it's not his brother. Sorry, he does have a brother. I remember reading he does have a brother, but he doesn't show up in the anime. Yeah, Patty, I think, is the only insert into the anime that doesn't appear in the games, and she's basically just a little girl that is caught up in the first job that he pulls. It turns out she was being used as a distraction for the real Patty. Somebody just happens to share her name. Just giving away the first episode there. Congrats. And for whatever reason, Dante just kind of not adopts her as such. But she comes and lives in the town and then works at Devil May Cry, cleaning up after him and just generally getting on his nerves because all Dante wants to do all day is sleep, eat pizza, and shoot pool. It's pretty much it.
Also ice cream, which is
nice. Yeah, he does like the strawberry sundaes.
Yep.
The problem is he's also a fucking terrible gambler. Absolutely horrendous. Which is why we then introduced to another one of the characters who is from the video game, known only as Lady. Now she's another devil hunter, who specializes in things going boom.
Yes. All the kaboom.
All the kaboom. She quite often has a rocket launcher strapped to her back just because. And yeah, she's another devil hunter that's a fairly successful one that likes to bring Dante in from time to time. The problem is she ends up lumping him with any damages checks, or just basically being a complete dick to him. He hates working with her.
Deserves about half the time.
Yes, he does, but he hates working with her. But the fact is, he owes her so much money, he very rarely has a choice.
I think he actually does like working with her. He just can't admit
it. We also, again, this is one of those things that you don't find out unless you do some reading. Again, from the games, it's revealed that she's actually fairly relevant to the plot in that the whole bit about Dante's dad, the demon lord Sparda. When the demons attacked, he, as much as he's a nice guy compared to most devils, yeah, he needed to sacrifice a whole shitload of priestesses to seal the gate, to use their blood sacrifice. And she's a descendant, so she is related. She is connected to Dante in one way or the other. So relevant to the games. The other main one, and pretty much the last of our good guys at least, is Trish, who is also on our title card there, the blonde one, who is actually a full-blown demon. Again, this isn't revealed.
Tell us that in the series?
No, that's why I'm not. This is not a spoiler for the series. It's not revealed that way. Well, when we're introduced to her, Lady thinks she's a demon because she's basically got lightning powers. She can shoot lightning because she can. But essentially, she was created as a weapon against Dante. She's in the image of his mother. Given the demonic powers of electricity, strength, and healing and all that kind of stuff. Again, this is all stuff that's covered in the game. She decides to betray her lord to save Dante's life, who saves her back, who ends up being partners with for a while and trains together, and she fights very similar to him. They both use dual pistols, where he uses a massive sword, she has electric powers, and generally, if I remember correctly, she was introduced so that you had a player 2 option that wasn't a weird looking Dante.
Okay.
She was like she was a secondary player character essentially. At least when she came back, hence why she fights just like Dante, because in the game, the mechanics of the character were more or less the same. The only other recurring character we really get is an ugly little troll of a man called Sid, who Dante, I mean, it's not a secret, Dante immediately realizes is a devil in his own right. But he's relatively minor, relatively weak, and essentially is not much more than, Dante starts to use him as a snitch, so to speak. He does pop up every now and again, just generally as a minor nuisance, trying to get he's the sort that he'll try and put in a sly knife if it'll gain him favor and a little bit of power with the demon lords, but he would never dare face someone, one-on-one. Just because.
Yeah. That, I think, covers all the recurring characters.
That's pretty much all
that
the
covers everyone who's at all important.
There are, again, this is
and
the
honestly,
thing.
Trish isn't really that important. She doesn't do a lot. She just shows up and kicks some ass every once in a while.
Yeah. Lady is far more important in the show. And
Yes.
she's not super important either.
No. This is the thing about this. Like I've said, we're not going to get too deep into the story of this one just because it's really is just... I mean, they've taken it from a video game, and you can tell. The basic... think about how you play the game. You go in, here's a generic story for the people who haven't just pressed A lot. Kill demons. Here's a cutscene. Kill demons. Here's another cutscene. Stop pressing A. We have story. We hired writers for this.
But yeah, so the show for most of it is really just sort of a Monster of the Week show for a lot of it, and for I would say about the first
there's
half.
nothing wrong with being a Monster of the Week show.
No, I enjoyed it.
Like I said, some of them actually had interesting little ideas.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think the main thing we got coming out of this was just...
Sometimes adding plot is the worst thing you can do.
Yeah, there is a lot of... I want to say there is a lot of potential here. A lot of potential. But it suffers, I think, from the whole, it's just a video game adaptation, put it out.
So
this is a paycheck where you do more stuff like Ride Back and One Punch Man.
See, that's the thing you see, though. Like One Punch Man, it's based around the same concept of just a fight after fight after a fight, but done. One Punch Man done far fucking better.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, you guys, if you want to, jump in, because I'm covering the bare skeleton here, but obviously,
right.
Well, I mean, at this point,
Patty's the best character because she's the only one that's an actual character.
Yes.
She's the one with actual development, with personality beyond I'm a particular flavor of badass. I like Patty. She's sassy and sometimes a bit of a bitch, but kind of adorably so.
Yep. I'd agree with that.
Yeah, she's yeah. I mean, like I said, they all fall into rough categories. Dante's the brooding yet sullen, sulky, childish badass. Trish again. Well, not
Trish.
Not arrogant, but confident.
Yeah, I like Trish, but it never goes beyond the basic kick-ass the kick-ass lady character archetype.
Yeah, exactly. That's it. They're archetypes.
Not Trish, lady. I'm sorry.
Yeah, lady.
Trish,
yeah, Trish isn't a character. She's
Trish isn't a character. She's a
she's a turret.
She's a QuickTime event.
Yes. Lady, they do try and give her a little bit of character, mostly based around her rivalry with Trish, and they give her a little bit of relationship with Patty every now and again.
Yeah.
And again, she's the one that's got something over Dante, so they do a little bit with that, but at the same time, the only thing they really do with it is to have her make fun of him, which, he deserves.
Which he totally deserves.
Yeah, I mean, all of Trish's best moments are her banter with Lady, honestly.
Yeah.
And it's usually Lady being far more amusing and snarky than Trish is, because Lady actually has personality.
Yeah, like I said, Trish doesn't... If Dante is like, the character insert, therefore his personality isn't that strong, then Trish was just an afterthought.
Like, honestly, you
Trish was a bit of the oh yeah, we need a girl, another girl too.
Like, you literally could remove Trish from the series, and it would have basically no impact on it.
Yeah.
Like, Lady would leave a minor hole in it. She's sort of she actually drags Dante into a few actually kind of interesting episodes.
Yeah.
But Trish is just kind of there. I mean, there's an episode...
Like I said, she's a quick time event. She shows up, stuff happens around her that has little to no bearing on the plot. Move on.
I'm just trying to think of the time she shows up, and yeah, that's about it. She basically shows up, other than the intro episode, and even then, it's pretty much that is it. She shows up, beats something up, delivers a little bit of exposition, and vanishes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like Patty a lot also. She's easily the most sympathetic character in the show, despite being kind of irritating at times.
But that's the thing, she's playing, it's the little girl, so yeah, she does become the annoying little girl from time to time. That's what the kids do.
Yeah, she does grate on the nerves on occasion, but she makes up for it by having an actual personality.
Yeah.
I mean, at this point, there's not a lot to talk about in the show in terms of the plot, because it's so abbreviated.
It's literally, like I said, 3 episodes is the overall plot.
Yeah, and the whole Monster of the Week thing I really like, and it's where the show's the strongest, kind of like the X-Files.
Yes.
It's strongest with the Monster of the Week. Let's go stab bad guy A in the face till he's dead.
Yeah. I mean, there's some without going into without spoiling the episodes themselves, there are some great ideas for the monsters here. One of my personal favorites is essentially it's a minor demon, really fucking minor demon, that fancies himself a genie.
Oh god, that guy, yes.
Oh, this guy.
Yeah.
Worst demon ever.
Worst demon ever. But he pops up.
At his job.
He pops up and offers someone 3 wishes. And they'll be like, okay. Oh, no, he also gives them a wish. Whatever their heart desires. Okay, I want all the money in the world. No. Okay. How about... Ooh, I want to be, super attractive to women. You don't really want that. What? Oh.
Okay, power. I'd like power.
How about power? I'd like power. No, that's not really good for you. Oh, no, that's it. Yeah, it's no, I don't want to. That's not good for you.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it's the same 3 things.
And keeps following around until they basically get exasperated with something and basically say, God, I kind of wish that guy was dead, at which point the demon blows it up with acid and is done.
Yeah. So he will grant you any wish he can.
You dumbass, I wished for like a dozen things before this, and you said no to all of them.
Yeah, he will grant you any wish he can as long as it involves melting someone with acid.
Yeah.
That you didn't actually want to be melted with acid.
Yeah. they kind of go down a be careful what you wish for kind of route, but then quickly abandon it when we realize how fucking pointless this demon is.
And it's a fun episode, honestly.
It really is.
It's like a really budget episode of Wishmaster. But that's the best thing about it is that demon is just how Dante is introduced to that episode, because that's not the overall story. The whole story is the prison.
Yeah, Dante basically gets himself to save the guy who the demon contacted with and killed his friend, kills this guy's best friend, and the guy gets blamed for it and gets sent to jail. The super jail, which turns out is run by a bunch of demonically possessed evil bastards. Dante gets himself imprisoned there and busts the guy out and kills all the demons.
Yeah,
because of course he does.
Because again, the whole thing is it's because Dante is a badass. This is the super prison that no one escapes from, so he tricks the guards into letting him out. Because he's so badass, he's murdering them all. Their only way of escaping is to open the fucking front door and get away from him.
Yes. Which is fun. I mean, it's a fun episode, and honestly, it was a fun episode. There were 2 other episodes I thought were pretty good, and both of those were. Most of the episodes followed. There is a demon. Dante gets brought in for various reasons. Eventually, Dante fights the demon and kills the demon. End of episode.
Yeah,
there are 2 episodes where the demon, where he doesn't just kill it, doesn't flat out. He kills the demon in one of them and doesn't in the other.
Yeah.
that are a
Yeah.
little bit different. There's one where it's got this. There's a demon who falls in love with this woman. It's sort of vaguely Romeo and Juliet-ish. Dante eventually lets the demon go because the demon actually has discovered what
Hang
love
on,
is.
hang on. Sorry. Vaguely?
Well, considering that the guy's name is Capulet.
No. No, he's the mayor of the daughter
Oh,
is
right, he's the mayor of
daughter of the
Capulet,
mayor
yes.
of Capulet City.
Yeah, I was going to give the show a little bit more credit to that, Gav, but I was going to be
I'm
nice because I'm going to be slamming it later.
Fair enough.
But despite that, because it doesn't go full Romeo and Juliet, because both the demon and the girl live. It turns out like the demon is there because his master is being summoned into the world, and everything looks like it's hinting at the girl's father's one is behind it, except it's actually his butler, because the butler actually did it.
The butler did it.
Of course, the butler did it.
Well, the thing is, in general, the butler doesn't do it. It's one of those tropes that doesn't generally actually happen.
Yeah.
Right.
And in this case, it did happen, which is fucking hilarious.
Yes. See, this is the thing. This show does have moments where we're like,
Oh,
yes.
absolutely.
Fucking yes.
The other episode I really liked involved this woman who was this rock and roll star and became one
yes.
because this demon made a deal with her and ended up basically corrupting her, taking her over, and possessing her and ruining her, like basically turning her voice. She was sort of vaguely like a banshee or a siren, and drove her fans mad and such. And she eventually just sort of disappeared. And it ends with Dante killing the demon yet saving the girl.
Yeah.
Okay, cool, done.
Yeah.
Fun episode.
But then there's a couple of episodes where, well, actually, no, there's one other episode that I did like because of how absurd it got. The one where it's the waitress in the
Oh
in the
yeah, that
diner.
one. That was fun. Yes.
There's
Oh,
one
right.
whole
Yes, that was actually my favorite episode.
the
Yeah,
guy
but
that
the
only
one-
owns one shirt.
Yeah, the really ugly shirt, and he really wants to date this girl who tells him, "Well, what? You should just be more like Dante." Dante, he's a white-haired weirdo that only eats ice cream. Why would anyone want to be like him? You know what? I don't trust this guy. I'm going to follow him around. And he does so, and it's hilarious. And he gets chased. He's this big jacked blonde guy, and Patty chases him away just by glaring at him and following him down the street.
Well, because he's actually
It's
at heart.
hilarious.
The thing is, he's at heart a pacifist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he really doesn't want to get stuck in, and he keeps on finding all this ridiculous shit as Dante goes about his business. Oh, there's a demon. I'll stab it. Oh my god, you just stabbed that person. No, that was a demon.
Yeah, Dante doesn't hide what he does.
Nope, not even a little bit.
No. And yeah, out in the street, or there's one scene where he basically goes into a nightclub, and the guy follows him in. He's like, "What the fuck is he doing in here?"
Right.
And you just see him walk up to the back where there's a chick and a dude making out. He basically pulls the woman off, punches the guy out, says something along the lines of "I've just saved your life," and throws the woman into the back.
Right.
It turns out she's a demon. She always was. She was basically about to fucking kill him. And this guy's basically witnessed, as far as he's concerned, Dante murdering a woman in the ladies' bathroom. Except he can't find a body. But the bouncers find him in the ladies' bathroom looking under the stalls. It's that kind of old-style comedy, It's
Yeah. That's part of the best thing about it is he keeps on getting into like this ridiculous shit because he finds Dante doing this from what he can tell, horrible things, and then Dante sort of disappears, and no, I swear there's a murder here. I know there's no blood, I know there's no victim, I know there's no other person in here, but I swear to God, I saw a guy murder a woman in here just 5 minutes ago.
That's totally why I'm in the ladies' bathroom.
And it ends with basically, so Sid at some point in the show shows up and gives the guy this thing, which ends up summoning a big, powerful demon that Dante kills, and the guy's like, "Oh, Dante kills what? I'm leaving town. I got to get out of here. None of this makes any sense."
I'm leaving.
It's a bell that summons demons through.
Right.
And yeah, he basically rings the bell. Dante shows up and he's like, "Fuck this, I'm out," and just leaves.
Yeah.
And he drives until dawn, just out into the fucking desert. You can't see the shit all behind him until the city's in his rearview mirror until it's fucking dawn, and he just keeps driving. And Dante's there.
Dante's there, demon's there, fight happens, dude's car's broken.
Because again, it turns into Dante's the badass. He's got the bell. He rings the bell himself, kills the demon, rings the bell again, kills the demon, rings the bell harder until something worth a fight shows up.
Right. So yeah, it's a fun. It's a really fun episode, honestly.
That's unfortunately that's also one of the greatest weaknesses of this show, which is shown in no greater detail than there's two examples, unfortunately. One is the main overarching plot, and B is it's a great build up episode about the episode with the gamblers.
Yes, that's another good episode.
Right.
Fantastic episode where there's supposedly a demon that plays poker. And if you end up in a game with it, if you lose, it steals your soul. It just takes your life. You die. And as this game's going on, Dante's there. He's got himself an invite, and there's 4 other like proper card sharks, and then there's one little weedy guy who's absolutely no money, completely out of place. Shouldn't be at this table with these guys. And it's great, like, playoff between all these really cocky characters and him just concentrating his cards. And the big card sharks start to drop one by one. And I don't mind spoiling this because I've kind of got to get my point. And it comes down to Dante versus this guy. And they're like, so you're they call him King. I say you're King. You're the demon gambler. And he's like, no, I don't know what you mean. And it all turns out that in the end, there was no demon gambler. There was no king. It was the person that organized the game that was harvesting the souls of everyone playing.
It was going, basically, was the whole point. She ends up she was basically the demon in question is trying to choose a champion to receive her luck powers, who would play until they lose and they die and give her their soul, etc. Dante, they all figured out because of Patty did something, and or back at their place before the tournament, and Dante and the evil luck demon fight, and Dante wins because, of course.
Yeah, because that it's built up this really clever plot and all this really good stuff, and then they've got this great little twist where Dante knew all along because of, as you just said, Patty did something, and then it turns into a 2-second fight between Dante and a demon.
Yeah,
which we've seen by this point
like 8 or 10 times.
Yeah.
There. And that's the biggest problem with the show. There's sometimes it has great ideas that end up being a whole bunch of wasted potential.
Yeah.
That being one of the best examples of it.
There is such a thing, and it pains me to say there is such a thing as too much badass.
Oh God, yes.
Well, here's the thing. Dante can't lose. He never loses. He wins every fight he's in almost casually. And so way you can do that so it's interesting, there's a way you can do that to make a good story, and it has to boil down to he has to win every fight in a new and clever way. And they never have him win any fight in any interesting way. He just stabs it with the sword at the end. Or maybe shoots it a bunch first.
Right. And there's also the fact that there's just for most of it there aren't any stakes.
Yeah.
No.
And so we get to the actual plot, which it turns out Sid has been basically manipulating Dante to fight a bunch of certain particular demons that have these various sigil things, whatever, that allow him to create the summoning.
There's a couple where he needs their skulls, a couple where he needs eyes, all this sort of stuff. Yeah. Basically, demons he has no hope of defeating, and Dante doesn't know they're significant.
Right. And so he gathers all the bits and manipulates this woman who has this sigil because she was the wife of this powerful alchemist who sealed away this powerful demon. And basically Sid's trying to steal this demon's power, and through various manipulations, turns out the woman's actually Patty's mother. And through manipulations and such, Patty's mother is basically forced to give the guy the Patty ends up bringing the amulet because she's desperate to find her mom. That's her ongoing story. She wants to find her mom.
There's something we probably should have mentioned that gets mentioned the first episode and then this episode. Patty's an orphan, and pretty much ignored the rest of the time.
Yeah. And the episode before that, we should talk about this one because it is probably the most infuriating episode for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's two big characters in the games. The both demon lords. Lord Mundus, who is the guy that actually created Trish, and his brother Baal, who were both students of Dante's father Sparda, and are mostly considered the best swordsmen in the demon world.
Now,
These
Sparta's
guys
dead,
in
yes.
the games, in the games, they are huge. You know, they're big guys. In this,
They show up in an episode. It looks like, Baal is probably going to be like a big important bad guy, and that Mundus might be like a big rival for Dante or something like that. Eventually, Dante fights Baal. They have a fight. Dante wins because Dante, of course, wins. Mundus basically ends up, Mundus does want to. There's apparently rumors going around that if you can defeat Dante, you'll steal his soul and become even more powerful. Mundus kind of wants that, kind of doesn't. But now that his brother's dead, he kind of has to A, test himself against Dante, and
Vengeance,
B, vengeance. And Dante kills him off screen.
yeah. Baal's whole point is the thing is between the two. Mundus threw down his sword. Okay, he rejected the warrior way. Baal didn't, and all he wants is Lord Sparda to come back so he can continue training under him and get stronger. That's all he wants. And the only way he thinks he can lure Sparda out of hiding, who he believes is still alive somewhere, just in hiding, is to fight Dante to see if he can bring him out. And Dante is completely wrecked. Dante completely wrecks him. At this point,
and Mundus is referred to throughout this as being even more badass than his brother Baal, by the way.
He's always mentioned that he's actually the badass, but he threw down his sword. He's a pacifist now. He doesn't fight anymore, except he immediately does. Summons his sword from the fucking ground and goes straight in against Dante because he's killed his brother.
And the thing is, you could have built the entire show around this, and had all of this stuff that Gav and Peter just described being dropped along the way in between Dante stabbing inconsequential demons.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, just to point out,
and they don't.
All that I've just said about the relation between Baal, Sparda, Mundus, and Dante, and all the rest of it, I found out that through the fucking wiki.
Yeah, the show does a terrible job of adapting all that information.
Other than their names and the fact that they're brothers and used to work under Sparda. That is all you learn about them.
Oh, you also learn that that Mundus is apparently more badass than Baal, and that he's put away, given up his sword. That's it.
That's it. Yeah. Everything else, their relation to Dante in the game, or everything else, is either assumed or learned from elsewhere.
Right, and Mundus' relationship with Trish not mentioned.
Nope.
And this is all dropped in this one episode. This all happens in one episode.
And there was 20, 25 minutes?
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's pretty indicative of the greatest sins of the show. Lots of wasted potential that it just sort of squanders in 20 minutes that could have been a really interesting overarching storyline, but they squandered away in 20 minutes because they hate me.
Yeah. So, anyways,
me personally.
Right. So, Sid, gets the power of this demon whose name escapes me, and I don't fucking care. It was the name was amusing. I forget what it was.
Yeah, it's
like Abigail or something.
Abigail, that's what it was.
It.
Yep.
It is, yeah.
Something like remarkably mundane.
And apparently is like as powerful as Satan. And now Sid has his power. Dante shows up to fight him. Sid curb stomps Dante in this fight. And
at least initially.
And crucifies him with his own sword.
Because of course he does.
Yeah, and, nails him to a sword. Nails him to a cross with his own sword.
Right, and so the next episode, he's Sid's now going immensely destroying a bunch of the city, summoning demons. Trish and Lady are fighting demons, all this stuff. Patty goes back to save Dante because she refused to believe Dante could possibly lose. Fair point, honestly, to Patty.
Yeah.
And she goes into the demon world where Dante's crucified, basically pulls the sword out from Dante, well, tries to pull the sword out from Dante, but revives him effectively. He comes out, tells Patty everything's going to be all right, and goes off to fight, Sid, aka Sid slash Abigail.
Abigail, right.
And then we get the big final confrontational fight between Dante and Sid, and it's underwhelming.
It's remarkably anticlimactic.
Yeah, Sid shoots a couple of.
Would have been funny if they played it for as a joke, but they were clearly as earnest as they ever are in the show regarding the fight.
Considering since the whole, since Dante got trapped in the demon world, Abigail has basically just been annihilating the city with death beams and summoning all the demons in the world. It's kind of underwhelming. I mean, we get one of the most awesome scenes in the fucking show, which is Lady firing a rocket, which Trish jumps on top of and charges with electricity.
Yes, which was pretty fucking awesome.
That was great.
That's pretty badass.
That was awesome. That was.
But it also sums up
over the top badassery that should have been a staple of the show, but for some reason wasn't.
It also sums up the presence of Lady and Trish.
Yeah.
We show up, we're awesome, now we go home.
The ending fight, it was literally, I think Abigail pins Dante with spikes, but at this point he's basically going, fuck it, I'm actually going to take this seriously, and it just breaks them out.
Yep.
And then murders.
Yep.
Abigail swings a clawed hand, he blocks it with the sword, and then, again, the only reason I knew this, they put a slight voice modification on him. And I looked it up afterwards because I knew something like this happened in the game. He basically used his Devil Break, which is like a limit break sort of thing in the Final Fantasy. He has a mode where he taps into his real demon side and he's even more badass than he normally is. Which, like I said, if you didn't listen out for the voice mod when he says like 2 fucking words, you wouldn't know anything was happening.
Honestly.
Yeah. And yeah, he uses
I was too busy being disappointed in the animation.
Yeah, he uses the double break and just annihilates the greatest evil of all time. They literally, for as fearful, considering this amulet had been passed down through fucking centuries or however long to make sure Abigail couldn't escape because she was too powerful to control, all they had to do was just fucking summon her and let Dante deal with it.
Yeah.
There was no stakes.
Yeah, and Dante then proceeds to point out to Sid that the reason Sid was less powerful than Dante is that Dante's soul was more pure, or something like that.
Yeah. They try to say that humans are actually naturally more powerful than demons.
Something like that.
Yeah. The light is stronger or something.
Yeah, I don't know. And that's where the show. At this point, Patty goes back to live with her mom, though she occasionally shows up to help Dante clean out the place, and we're done with the show.
That's pretty. Yeah. See, this is the thing. I mean, I'm actually glad we discussed the Nadesico movie at the start because this is the problem with this show. A lot happens, but at the same time, nothing.
Yeah, it's...
Yeah.
It's... The one I think we should talk about a bit is the animation, honestly. It's Madhouse.
Yes. And it's Madhouse, so it should be very good. But...
And it's early Madhouse, so it's came out the same year that Ryback did. I want to make that clear.
2007, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
They both came out in 2007, and I think it's pretty clear, honestly, that there are these two shows, and Madhouse was clearly more interested, and the people at Madhouse were more interested and more devoted and more sort of, they worked harder on the animation and the writing and the storytelling and everything in one of these two shows, and it wasn't Devil May Cry.
Yes.
one of them
Cry was the paycheck for was the paycheck, honestly.
One of them was the contracted job from Capcom, and that's it.
Yeah.
It was the paycheck that let them do Ryback, is what it was.
Because Ryback, Ryback had some bits that were mildly annoying, irritating about how they did the storytelling, but it all tied together at the end in a very satisfying and interesting way. And the animation was generally beautiful, the art style was great, and they did some really interesting stuff integrating CG. And there are moments in DMC where Eric was very impressed with the animation.
Yeah.
But they were moments.
They also had a bad editor. Their animation editor was bad at his job.
Yes, there was a couple of moments where you can just see where
Why
an
is the
entire
lady on a
scene.
motorcycle now? Where did she get the rocket launcher? Who cares? Something exploded.
Yeah, there's one scene where Lady she's on a bike with the rocket launcher. She jumps up into the air off the back of the bike, pirouettes around in the air, fires rockets, all the rest of it. While she's still in the air, the very next scene we see is her power sliding the bike into a stop.
Yeah.
We don't see her land back on the bike. She's just back on.
It by all indication from the way it's shot animation, she dumps the bike to do the jump.
Yeah.
But what it turns out she did the typical trick thing where the bike kept going, and she managed to vault over, fire rockets, and land back on it. But again, because of the way it was shot or edited, it doesn't really give you that impression.
Also, there's a bit in there where in that actual same sequence where she's riding along in a motorcycle sort of tracksuit, and then later in that, like right after that scene, she's in her normal sort of clothing, never having obviously taken the. Apparently, she's wearing that under the suit. Fine, but.
That was a great scene.
Yes.
She gets attacked by a demon. It shreds her motorcycle suit. She's in a normal clothes.
Yes.
It's like
she's straight back into her combat suit.
Right, and like no damage to suit. Right? It's like, but I, what?
And where does she keep pulling those guns from?
Her superpower is clearly the same one from. Yeah, it's the same one from friggin' Highlander the series, where it's just manifest necessary weapon.
Yeah, but she's not even wearing a killing coat. If she was wearing a trench coat, I'd be okay with it.
Yeah, she just wears like a cut off.
Well, she was wearing bicycle shorts with a pleated skirt, so clearly she's drawing the weapons from between the pleats of her skirt.
Okay, there we go. Fine, done.
Her skirt bends time space. Okay.
I'd also say some of the character designs are great. I mean, they're drawing from the game, so yeah. I like Lady's character design a lot. I love the fact that her rocket launcher / bazooka, I'm not sure which it is off the top of my head, she is affixed a quote bayonet to it, i.e. basically a machete to the end of it.
So that she can hit things with it, because that's awesome. Because she played way too much Borderlands.
There's one of the scenes where she's fighting Trish. She fires a rocket, Trish dodges, so she lands. She's got a full-size bazooka in her hand and just starts swinging this huge bayonet like a scythe. The whole thing with the bayonet in there like a scythe. And it's like, okay, I get that. They didn't just go, okay, well, she's just going to grab it by the end and swing it like a, no. She's still using the firing handles. She's just maneuvering it a different way.
Yeah.
Clever.
Yeah.
Like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, this is the thing. There's little bits in this. So many ideas. Oh, the demons that were introduced to when we were introduced to Lady are these great. They're like devil dogs kind of thing.
Mm.
And their attack is one of the most original.
Yeah.
One of the most original attacks that I've ever seen in anything really. It's like a projected bite. It snaps its teeth shut, and something in like 3 meters ahead of it gets ripped up and teleports into its mouth.
Yeah.
It's actually really neat.
And that's a really clever idea.
Pretty cool.
They're also
and you see this bit where yeah,
just all these little.
She loses a gun that way. She loses a gun. She's nowhere near it. She's fighting at long range combat. It snaps its mouth shut, and her gun disintegrates and appears in her mouth, in its mouth.
Yeah,
and I was like, that is an awesome idea. How do you dodge that? That's awesome. And then we never see them again.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, they're clearly the monster of the week. You don't need to do them again. The only time you have the only time you have the monster of the week show up twice is the stretchy guy from those 2 episodes of X-Files.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess I mean that's sort of it, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's fun. It really starts to become a disappointment once it hits starts trying to plot.
This is definitely one of those shows that if you want to just sit down and watch something that might be entertaining for half an hour, by all means, watch one of the episodes. You don't really need to know what's going on as such. Just it is such a each episode is such a standalone effort unless it's 1, 11, or 12.
Yeah. So I guess final thoughts, and that's sort of Gav, why don't you finish up your final thoughts on it then?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of knew this was going to be a quick one. I mean, I picked this one just based on the fact that it. Unfortunately, I think this is the curse of the video game adaptation. There was never really going to be much room for in-depth discussion with this one, I'm afraid. Just because they, again, I think they said it was set between Devil May Cry 2 and Devil May Cry 3, I think it was. So what they do is they use the characters, make up these generic bland settings for them, interesting ideas, but everything resets by the end of the episode because they can't do anything to the characters because the games might want to use them later. There's no threat to any of them dying because they're going to be in the sequel game. There's no injury, there's no damage, there's nothing permanent comes out of this. Everything, even the entire series, by the end of it, is reset to 0.
Yeah.
And unfortunately for that, it makes, while entertaining, kind of unsatisfying. Just because, like I say, there's no real payoff to it. It's just half an hour of badassery.
All right, Eric?
I want to like this show a lot more than I do. There's the animation varies a lot more than you expect from a Madhouse show, and that some episodes are really well animated, some are they're above average for the time period, but nothing to write home about, which I expect better from Madhouse, honestly. And the last fight was stupendously anticlimactic.
Yeah.
The show really wants to. You're right about there being no consequences, and the show wants. The other Madhouse show where they're going to win, they always win. That's how it works. That I can think of is No Game, No Life, where it's not. Are they going to win? There are all these stakes and whatnot, blah, blah, blah. It's like, no. How are they going to outsmart who they're playing against? That should have been what we should have been experiencing with Dante. It's like, how is Dante going to win this fight? What clever ways are you going to do? Clever flourishes are you going to pull out for this fight? And that never happens. It's always, and I stab him with my sword at the end.
Yeah, I mean, based on what the shows we've seen, I mean, we had something very similar during Build Fighters. It's a tournament arc. We know people are going to win. Otherwise, it's going to be a very short fucking show. But it was the creative level of getting there and how they overcome. Whereas with Dante, it's just
with everything neat stuff with different with different villains and opponents.
Yeah,
like.
But with Dante, everything's easy, everything's effortless, everything's boring.
Yes, there's no stakes, not big, and you can have an episode where the stakes are just like this bar gets to stay open, and have those be actual stakes by having the characters being invested. Dante and none of the other or any of the other characters are ever invested in the actual stakes of the episode, regardless of how high the stakes are for everyone around them.
Yeah.
Because otherwise Dante is not cool and disaffected anymore.
Yeah.
And that's my biggest problem with the show. There's a lot of cool Monster of the Week stuff. There's some like I like watching the different Gribblies running around. I like Patty giving Dante all the shit he deserves. But none of the characters seem invested in what's actually happening, and everything is easy and effortless, which is fine to establish how badass they are in the first 2 episodes, so that you start to feel the stakes, even if the character isn't necessarily invested in them. But yeah.
My thoughts on the show. I enjoyed it for the first, I'd say, roughly 6 episodes. Honestly, I was having fun with it, but then it got kind of repetitive, and. It's not just that, the characters can't get, the characters aren't invested in anything. And because of that, I can't get invested in anything. No, aren't any, there are a couple of individual characters that you actually sort of like, okay, I can kind of get invested in this character. They're never seen again after the episode they're in.
Yeah.
There's none of that. There's, and like all the villains they introduce, are like the only one with whoever recurs at all is Sid, and he's never on screen enough except for the first time he's introduced, and at the end, where we don't know anything about Sid other than he's weak, and is apparently manipulating things. We don't know anything about his personality. We don't know anything about his likes. We don't know anything about his dislikes.
We know he can't actually focus his eyes on anything because he's always looking in opposite directions.
Right. And he has no personality, and almost nobody in the show has personality outside of Patty.
Who seems to be the only character they're allowed to do anything with.
Well, because she's new to the show. She's new to the story.
Yeah, because she's. I'm pretty certain she's a pure show insert.
Yeah.
So they did things with her because she's their creation.
But yeah, like at the end of the episode with Ball and Mundus, like or Medeus, whatever his name is, at the end of the episode, I said to both of them, both Gav and Eric, who the fuck are these guys, and why the fuck should I care that they showed up and died?
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's the thing Yeah, particularly with Ball and Mundus. Like that's the biggest example of them dropping the ball, honestly, because you could have had, who was it? Ball was the white one?
Yeah.
The one dressed all in white?
Yeah.
You could have had Ball showing up like in these little asides, like on the heels of Dante's Wake of Destruction, going, God damn it, missed him again. That's all you needed to do to establish stakes for the fight between Ball and Dante.
Right.
And then you have Mundus be the guy, the actual plot once that happens. Except Mundus gets killed off screen.
Yeah, but I mean, but with Mundus, the other thing about him is like they also should have introduced him earlier, also, because the way they introduced him was great. Dante runs into, like, he's at the same diner that Dante frequents, and also likes, Strawberry Sundays, and there's immediate sort of connection there, and like, and he could have showed up earlier, and he's portrayed in the early parts of the episode as being, sort of a lot like Dante, except more likable. He's sort of like a more likable Dante, and like have him like and he interacts a bit with Patty, and they get along, and that's interesting for a little bit. But they need to do that earlier in the series.
Yeah, Patty loses an entire day because she's just sat talking to him on a park bench watching humans.
Yeah,
and she doesn't get that he's a demon, but he's from the demon world. He's just sat, and he's a relatively peaceful demon. The only reason he even attacks at all is because Baal dies, and he's just quite content, just sat there watching humans live their lives. Because that's what his Lord.
That's what
his Lord Sparta was about. You know.
Yeah, they should have introduced that in episode like 4. Like, if those two characters had been woven through the series and then made the show about them, this could have been actually good.
Yeah. All you need is a bit where Dante, asking, Patty doesn't show up at Devil May Cry quite so much, and he's asking, where have you been? He doesn't really care, but she's been talking to a new friend. Little bits you can just sneak in. No, you're going to cram it all into one episode.
Yeah.
And again, like, Sid is such a uninteresting, an unremarkable villain for the show.
If they'd have just left Sid out and the whole Abigail thing and focused around Baal and Mundus,
yes,
it would have been better. It might have been a decent show. As it stands, I can't recommend it even for a popcorn kicking and watching Dante be badass. It's not good.
Oh, yeah. When I say that, I mean there are better examples out there. Fuck One Punch Man. But
yes, but One Punch Man will make your head explode with his awesomeness.
Well, yeah. If you're a fan of the, if you happen to be an old school fan of the games, watch it. It adds nothing. It's harmless because they can't do anything with the main characters. It's just another side story for Dante.
Yeah, I guess if you're a fan of the Devil May Cry games, it could be a sort of a fun little sort of side thing. But I honestly think it's executed badly enough that you might be better off just not bothering. It's not disastrously bad. It's just I don't think it's worth the time to put into it.
Yeah, well, yeah.
I'm going to give it a little bit more of a recommendation than Peter does. The show is great to have on in the background if you're doing something else, and occasionally take a break, let your eyes rest, and watch Dante stab something. Then you go back and listen to the dialogue, and that's how I would watch this show. And the show cares about your engagement about as much as Dante cares about what he's doing, honestly. So
Yeah.
And yeah, it's there. I will give it credit for the potential it squanders. At least it had potential.
Yeah. There are a lot of really good ideas in here.
Yes.
They're just not finished.
Yeah, that's yeah. So that's Devil May Cry. I think I'm the one who liked it least. I didn't like it, honestly. I was sort of I was as I said, for the first 6 episodes I was enjoying it. I was willing to say yeah, this might end up being pretty good. And by the end I'm like, yeah, no. It was a colossal waste.
It's one of those. It's like, okay, this is okay. Okay, yeah, I can see where this is going to go. Okay, is it going to go there? No, it's going to do the same thing again. And again.
And again.
And again. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a good job it's only 12 episodes, really.
Oh, God, if this had gone on longer, I no.
If it had gone on longer, then it might have done something in the friggin' Balan Mundus.
That's a fair point, actually.
Well, yeah. Like I said,
it deserved a lot more stuff than they got.
There's 1 or 2 episodes that you can watch on their own. As I've said, there's the one with the Djinn. There's the one with Romeo and Juliet. There's the one with the guy with the the girlfriend. Well, the one that's trying to oust Dante or find out what he is. Those 3 episodes, and maybe the gambling one, but like I said, I'm not a fan of the ending. Those 3 episodes, I think, are worth a watch.
Yeah, so it's basically sorry, Gav, but it's episodes 3, which is the one with the Romeo and Juliet vaguely thing. The one with the rock and roll demon thing was episode 6. Yep. The one with the guy following Dante around is episode 5, and episode 7 is the wish thing. And I guess if you insist, you could watch Death Book, which is episode 9.
Yeah. So there's, like I said, there's 1 or 2 in there, but yeah, other than that, it didn't cost me much.
Worse things. It's not bad enough to earn my ire in any way, shape, or form. And yeah, it's something I have on in the background while painting minis.
So I think that's pretty much our most negative review so far.
Oh God, yes.
I found it, and I knew I would.
All right, so yeah, that's it for Devil May Cry. So the next show we're doing is my next recommendation, which I think is a much better show, because it's one of the ones I'm actively recommending because I like it actively. Is going to be Irresponsible Captain Tyler, sci-fi comedy space opera thing. So that'll be the next episode we do.
Yes.
Thank you guys so much for watching.
I'm trying to seduce the AI.
Yeah, we it may be a while before we're back because we've only just started it, but yeah.
So yeah,
very few words so far.
Anyway, that's gonna be the next episode. Thank you so much for listening. I hope you guys were entertained or found something useful out of this, as usual. We record this on Mondays when we record on hitbox.tv/mecha-gm. I'll be uploading this to YouTube as always. If you're listening on YouTube, feel free to hit like and subscribe. That way you know when new episodes go live. I also tweet out when the show is going to go live. My Twitter handle is @MechaGM, so you can follow me there and know when we're about to record stuff, or when I'm ever streaming anything, actually. You can also, if you need to get a hold of Gav's Twitter handle is @SonicGav with a K. And yes. Good luck getting a hold of Eric on the internet because he doesn't exist.
I'm an advanced chatbot that Twitter hasn't made racist yet.
So until next time, thanks for watching. Say goodbye, guys.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.